Hi, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at which is the right Honda bike for you. At Rentabike Vietnam, we use Honda bikes because they're really reliable, solid, excellent bikes, and there's a great dealer network all through the country. So you can get them repaired and replaced quite easily. For our touring bikes, we have three main kinds. Those are the XR150, the CRF 300, and the CB 500X. Now, which one of these you choose for your tour depends on a few different factors. And we think these are some of the questions that you're going to want to ask yourself before making that decision. So first of all, what's your riding experience and your skill level? How experienced are you with a manual motorbike? If you're just new off your test and you don't have that much experience, you might prefer to go for the XR150, which is really light, easy to handle, and then this lowers the stress level and allows you to focus on the road and the traffic, which here can be absolute mayhem. If you're more skilled, got more experience, particularly off-road, then the CRF 300 is going to be the bike for you. Also as well, if you have a bit more experience but you prefer heavier touring bikes, then that means you're going to choose the CB 500X. Now, as you move up the cc capacity of the bikes, they're going to get heavier and heavier. And if you have more experience with heavy bikes, particularly for slow maneuvering and close traffic, then that could be a choice. Are you comfortable with the bike's size and weight? If you're going to be using the CB 500X, which is in excess of 200 kilos and quite a large bike for Vietnam, then you need to have the experience of using that bike, in particular in slow maneuvering and in dense traffic. If you have less experience and you're not quite used to the weight, or you have perhaps shorter legs, or you don't have the strength to keep the bike up should it lose balance, then you're going to want to move down and perhaps choose the XR150 or the CRF 300. You also need to think about your touring style and the kind of terrain that you want to be on. So what kind of roads do you anticipate taking? If you want to be on the larger main roads or the larger provincial roads that's mainly tarmac, then the CB 500 is going to be a great bike. On the opposite end of the scale, if you want those muddy, rutted tracks, the kind of buffalo trails, steep, slippery inclines, then definitely the CRF 300 is the bike for you. If it's a mix of those kind of conditions, the XR150 is still quite a capable bike and will get you on the muddy trails and will actually fare up quite well on the tarmac. Another consideration is the comfort level and luggage that you'll be taking. Is it important for you to have a comfortable space for your pillion passenger? If it is, then the CB 500 is probably the most comfortable, and the XR150 will take a passenger so long as the both of you aren't that tall. The CRF is really hard work for a pillion. There's very little space and it's quite uncomfortable. Equally, in terms of luggage, there isn't that much space to put luggage on a CRF 300. The XR150 will take more luggage, but it maybe doesn't have the power to pull it up the slopes. And then the CB 500 can take quite a lot of luggage and a pillion and still handle that really quite well. Another consideration is the cost and the practicality of the bike. What's your budget? If you're on a low budget, then the XR150 is going to be the bike for you. It's the cheapest rental option and it's the cheapest to repair or to get parts for. On the other end of the scale, the CB 500 is much more expensive to rent, and should you drop the bike or damage it in any way, then the replacement parts are that much more expensive too. The CRF is also not a cheap bike, and the cost for repairs and the general rental for that as well are almost as much as the CB 500. In terms of accessibility of parts and mechanics that can work on these bikes, the XR150 is by far the most common, and there's also some overlap between other bikes in the Honda range. So you can take some parts from other bikes and use them on the XR150. The CB 500 probably comes in next as being more common than the CRF 300, but equally both of those bikes, it can be quite difficult to get replacement parts should you crash and need those. For all of these bikes, you're going to need to have a home license and also an IDP. Now, in particular, you're going to need to have a full A license for anything over 125 in Vietnam, and that's all of these bikes. So if you have an A or an A2, then that's okay. You've got to make sure that your IDP is a 1968 IDP, because that's the only one that's accepted in Vietnam. Those two documents, you're going to be legal, you won't get fined, and your insurance will cover you. So in summary, when choosing between the XR150, the CRF 300 and the CB 500X, if you're a newer rider and not so experienced, then you're probably going to go for the Honda XR150. It will do most of what you want to do, and it's a really reliable bike. If you have more experience and you're good off-road and you're looking for a bit more adventure, it's a CRF 300, but you need to compromise on luggage space and comfort for those longer stretches on the road. If you're looking for touring and you've got more experience on a heavier bike, then the CB 500 is going to be the choice for you. Feel free to get in touch, leave a comment down below if you have any questions to ask. You can contact us directly. We'll do our best to guide you onto what is the best bike for your tour. You also check out the channel. There are plenty more videos on the XR150, the CB 500 and the CRF 300, and we've got all kinds of things such as all the updates that we make on them and any tips and bits of advice you might need to know. As always, if you like the content, give us a thumbs up and share with your friends and subscribe to the channel so that you see regular updates on this.